Hello and welcome to Watchdog Wargaming. Right, so this is going to be the first in a series of unboxing of the Warlord Games 28mm Korean War Chinese miniatures which are supporting their Boltactionkorea supplement. So today is going to be the Chinese People's Volunteer Army support group. It's the unboxing of that. However, a little bit of background to how the Chinese were actually involved in the first place in Korea. So for those who don't know, in early October 1950, United Nations forces crossed the 38th parallel and moved on the North Korean capital of Pyongyang. Kim Il-sung's troops retreated in disarray northwards, and many believed a United Nations victory of the North Koreans forces would be swift and decisive. However, when General MacArthur ordered United Nations forces to push on to the Chinese border at the Yalu River, despite being told not to or given warnings by various different nationalities and or hints by the Chinese themselves, the People's Republic of China decided to send a massive number of volunteers to aid the North Koreans. The idea of a United Nations force stationed on its borders and a threat to the natural resources that the Chinese received from the North Koreans could no longer be tolerated. And in October of Chinese troops attacked the South Korean forces at the Yalu River, and a month later a massive Chinese offensive struck MacArthur's forces across the peninsula, driving them southwards. So that's a little bit of a background into the actual sort of the history of things. There's a lot more information in this book here, if you want to have a read of that. So before stop me waffling, we'll go straight into the unboxing of the first one, which is the Chinese People's Voluntary Army Support Group by Warlord Games. Right, and here we have the Chinese People's Volunteer Army Support Group box. I've already taken the plastic cover off it to save time. Comes in your so it's 10 metal 28mm Korean War miniatures and support weapons. Comes in the typical Warlord Games cardboard box, and lots of blurb on the sides. And we'll just go for what we're interested in at the back, and that's the sort of a painting guide. Picture paints 1,000 words, and a little blurb about the actual troops itself, which I'll just read through now. So in 1950, a seemingly unstoppable tide of 130,000 communist soldiers, the Chinese People Volunteer Army, pushed the United Nations forces back from the Yalu River to Busan at the very southern tip of Korea. Led by officers of whom many were veterans of the Chinese Civil War, the PVA also employed political officers, commissars, their task to educate the army in the communist way, as well as motivate and monitor behavior. So the Chinese copied the proven Maxim MG08/15 as the Type 24 machine gun, and typically fielded the Russian model 82mm and 81mm Brandt ME 27/31 medium mortars. So this box set contains 10 metal models of 2 officers, 1 commissar with an SMG, PPSH, 1 medic, 1 medium machine gun team, 1 medium mortar team, and the plastic bases that go with it. Right, let's just open this over off camera. As I normally do with all Warlord Games items, to see who's packed it. So cheers, Becky, thank you. And so the first one, we have as it's a support team, we have the base for it, and this is going to be the Maxim machine gun. So it comes on a sprue. You've got its carriage and the wheels. There's the carriage and the wheels. Lots of sprue on spare sprue. That's yeah, it's fine. We'll take that off later on. Again, it's all metal. And it actually comes with 2 guns, which is, so you've got the actual Maxim itself with its splash shields, the the water barrel and the actual gun itself, which mounts on there, or you've actually got the firing version, which I'll go into in a second. So you've got the actual gunner's arms and the actual weapon, and then you've got a prone machine gunner, number 1. And he's wearing his soft cap, the sort of typical communist uniform at the time, and puttees. So yeah, so that's the number 1. Also, you've got the number 2, which is the loader. Again, similar type of dress, bandoliers, his personal kit on there as well, and magazine for the actual MG08 for the magazine. And not forgetting, there's also, as you look on the picture, there's a rifleman as well. So that's probably the spotter. So it's a 3-man team on that one. So yeah, so that's your so that's the MG08 team, or the Maxim gun. Let's put those one side. Oh, he says just throwing them everywhere. I do like that to Maxim, because the spare one I can actually utilize for something else. So that's that'll go in the bit box, and I'll put that on a vehicle or something. And then next we have the actual 81mm mortar itself, and so again another one of the brown bases for the support teams. We've got a one of the troopers with, it looks, he's just covering his head from the rounds going off. Another crewman who's got the actual sort of one of the rounds that he looks like he's just about to drop. And a third crewman who again who just looks like he's just about to put the round down the barrel. There we are. And then not forgetting the actual mortar itself. So we've got the base plate, its legs, and the barrel. So there we are. So that's the 81. Sorry, that's the medium mortar. And now what I should be left is with 2 officers, a commissar, and a medic. So we'll do the medic first. So let me just get him in focus there. So that's the medic, again, a typical communist soldier's dress at the time, with this one's got a water bottle, a very large bag, and probably looks like he's carrying a medical sack as well. Again, like I said, they've got puttees and the trousers are all tucked in. No weapons on carrying on this one. And here we are. We'll go for the commissar. So again, because the communists, the Chinese forces followed the Russian doctrine, they had these commissars. Again, great coat, Yashanka, PPSH machine gun to encourage the troops. A bit of flash on there as well. Probably a bino case, and yeah, pistol, probably a Nagant. Just looking to see if he's got, if that's, yeah, just wondering if he had a magazine, so that might be more for personal kit or for the magazine or binos. Okay. And then last but not least, we've got the 2 officers. So in here we have, let me just see if I can get into focus. Yeah, another officer with a pistol waving his troops forward. Similar dress to the rest of the troops. And then lastly, we've got another officer armed with a PPSH, dress very, very similar. So, and that's all the forces. So you've got 2 officers, a commissar, a medic, a 3-man medium mortar team and mortar, and then you've got a medium machine gun and 3-man crew on there and an extra gun. And that is the contents of the Chinese People's Volunteer Army Support Group. So one thing I would have liked to see on that is, again, it's the Chinese communicated by lots of bugle calls. So perhaps what they could have done is actually remove one of the officers and actually put a bugler in as a sort of signaler radio operator type person substitute. That's my only criticism on that. But other than that, the sizing of the figures seem to be quite... if I had a... Let's see if I've got a... no, I haven't got one. I was just saying that the scaling is slightly on the smaller scale of 28, which is different to what they normally have for sort of your more European troops. So this is probably true to scale with the smaller stature of the Chinese forces. But other than that, yeah, I'm gonna add it to the metal mountain to get added to the list of things to get painted up. So it's I'm slowly I finished off my North Koreans, and we're now going on to the Chinese. So like I said, this is the first of a number of unboxing of the rest of the troops that go with the communist forces. And so I hope you've liked what I've done, given you a bit of insight into why the Chinese joined in to the Korean War, and give you a bit of interest to start looking at Chinese troops for your Boltactionkorea Wargaming. So don't forget to like and subscribe below, and much appreciated, and I'll catch you soon later. Well, all the best now. Bye for now.
Squad morale restored.